Colin Cowherd talking about the NFC South. Who will win the division? Now, this was sent to me. Again, guys, remember, in the comments below on Twitter, best ways to reach out to me. If you want me to talk about something, just let me know. So this was sent to me. So Colin Cowherd is talking about who is the most productive quarterback in the division, and then that will be who he selects to win the division, okay? We have said a million times on this channel, it's easy to predict division winners. Usually, just predict the best quarterback. A majority of the time, the best quarterback in the division will win the division, all right? So that's basically what Colin's doing. Now, he gets to the NFC South, and he's going to talk about Derek Carr, and we are going to react to that. Now, obviously, I have not watched the video. I have got it to the point where the NFC South is up next, and we're going to watch this live together.
Then we go in the NFC South. Now, this was the one I go, okay, who is the most productive quarterback in the division?
This has surprised me. It I guess it really doesn't, but what surprises me is how unknown the NFC South is. In the NFL, and maybe it's just me because I watch so much NFL, and I'm not really concerned about region. Like, I am obviously I'm in New Orleans, but I'm going to watch the NFC West just as much as I watch the NFC South. I'm gonna watch the NFC North just as much. I'm gonna watch the AFC West. I'm just watching football. I'm just watching as much NFL football games that's on that I possibly can. Not everyone does that. That's what I've learned from the mass sports media, is that they kind of focus on certain players or certain teams, and all offseason it is proven to me that they don't watch the NFC South. Because if you watch the NFC South, there is absolutely no way you can look at Desmond Ridder, Bryce Young, and Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask and have any wonder of who is the best quarterback in the division. It's obviously Derek Carr. None of the other guys. Bryce Young is a huge unknown, no doubt about it. He could come in, be Cam Newton or Joe Burrow and just immediately get it, immediately be good. He could definitely do that. I don't think he will, but he could. The other guys, I'm not totally sure Desmond Ridder is a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm not totally sure Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask is a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm sure Derek Carr is a starting quarterback in the NFL. And you may say, well, James, he got benched last year, my guy. And to that, I will say, no doubt, true. But I think there was a lot of other stuff happening behind the scenes that led to his benching. I don't think he got benched because Jarrett Stidham is better. I don't think Jarrett Stidham is a starting quarterback in the NFL. The NFC South has one guy, is Derek Carr. The only possible thing I could listen to, as far as quarterbacks, is that we don't know enough about Bryce Young to write him off. I could understand where someone would see what he did in college, the first overall pick type hype. I could understand someone saying he's going to be really good. Just hoping, just some of that hopium. But I don't see anyone else. So let's see what Colin says.
It's Derek Carr. Now, he was in a different conference, the better conference.
Yes.
But there isn't a quarterback and a coaching change. So the coach was there, and Derek was productive. They meet in New Orleans. I'll take the Saints.
So the coaching thing, interesting. That's a big wrinkle to this as well. The wrinkle is that it's a new coach for Derek, right? But it's kind of the same coach because this guy drafted Derek Carr. There is a relationship there. That's a big reason why Derek came to New Orleans, is the relationship with Dennis Allen. Now, Dennis Allen is certainly no quarterback whisperer. Dennis Allen is certainly no offensive guru. In fact, he's the opposite. So, as the Dennis Allen part of this, to me, is irrelevant. To me, it doesn't matter. Because what matters is the offense. What matters is Pete Carmichael. As you know, I have some major concerns about Pete Carmichael. I'm really not totally sure how this is going to play out, because I don't think Pete Carmichael is going to be the one calling plays. I don't think Pete Carmichael is all of a sudden going to become an offensive guru 17 years into his career when he has not shown his ability to do that ever. I catch a lot of flack for saying that because some people like to stand up for Pete Carmichael. I don't know if John Gruden is going to continue to be influential in Carr's progress of implementing this offense for the Saints. I don't know if Ronald Curry or someone else on the Saints staff is going to step up and be more influential in the game planning or the offensive, the game day stuff. I don't know if they're just going to play my videos on a loop on the sidelines and just let Pete Carmichael try and watch as much of my content as possible to up his abilities. I don't know. But it's hard for me to believe that it's all on Pete. So my biggest question mark with Derek Carr in the offense in the NFC South is who's calling what, who's doing what. Is he taking on a ton of responsibility at the line? It's kind of what it looked like in the preseason. So we'll see kind of how that plays out.
Blows up franchises. Inconsistent quarterbacks, new coach, new system, not sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at a franchise and you're looking at some kind of stability or building a franchise, that is obviously the two things, right? The quarterback, inconsistent quarterback play, unknown starting quarterback, rotating door of quarterbacks. That is probably the biggest problem with a franchise stability. Very few franchises can just rotate quarterbacks and still be good. It takes one hell of a coach, a la Sean McVay, to get to a Super Bowl with a quarterback, lose that quarterback, get another quarterback, go back to the Super Bowl. You got to really have a system in place. So the quarterback is the first thing. Having a stable quarterback, especially if it's a quarterback who fits the system, because then everything else is plug and play. We see it in Kansas City. Now, I know Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback to ever live, but is on his way to be. If he's definitely in the conversation already. Patrick Mahomes is so good and the system is so good, literally everything else is plug and play. Isaiah Pacheco could be any other running back. The wide receivers they have could be any other wide receiver. Like Juju Smith-Schuster last year could have been anybody else. You just grab random people, random bodies, plug them in Kansas City, they're going to be good. You can't say that for these teams that have rotating doors at quarterback and head coach. So that is a huge bonus for a lot of these teams. Is that kind of consistency in one of the two fronts. Now you wonder, and like Philly is a good example, where you wonder where is the system consistency, because they lost both coordinators. So is it Sirianni? Because if that's the case, they're fine. But if Steichen really was this offensive god and they're losing him, then what do? You could argue same in Kansas City with Bieniemy. I think Andy Reid might have been a little bit more of the offensive system than Bieniemy, but time will tell. So those two, we saw it in Buffalo. When Daboll left and Ken Dorsey took over, the Bills' offense was not as good. And Josh Allen is a really, really good player. But that shows how important a consistency in the system is for a lot of these quarterbacks to succeed.
All this, the only one you worry about is, do the Saints really have the right coach? I don't know.
That is the wonder. I mean, that is my, I was thinking about this morning. This morning, I was having this exact same conversation. The only thing I have left, if we had almost any other coach and any other offensive coordinator, I honestly think I would pick the Saints to win the Super Bowl. That's how high I am on this team. But we are so unknown and we're so low in coaching that I can't, like, the conversation I was having was, if it's us and Philly in the NFC Championship game, what happens? And I love roster versus roster, but the coaching is just brutal. Like we're losing the coaching battle everywhere except Dallas. Like, I'm thinking of NFC teams. Tampa Bay, I mean, Todd Bowles is really bad. Todd Bowles is probably in that same world as our coach. If you look at the whole staff, I mean, it's bottom of the barrel, guys. Unless they make a huge improvement, we have a great roster. We have a great quarterback. We have great weapons. We have a great, home field advantage. We have a great schedule. We have a weak conference. Like, everything is just boom, perfect. And then it's like, but man, can our coaches get us there? Can our coaches do enough to get us there. If we're playing the Jaguars, which I mean we do play the Jaguars, but if we play them in the Super Bowl and it's Doug Peterson versus Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, that's tough. If we're playing the Chiefs and it's Andy Reid versus Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, Kyle Shanahan in the NFC, Sean McVay even. Those are some serious gaps. So the coaching is the only question I have remaining. And I mean, obviously, we're not going to change it. Obviously, it's who we have. I mean, the season starts in 20 days. So it's who we have, at least for the first couple of weeks. I truly believe if we struggle out of the gate, Pete Carmichael's gone. I think he would. I don't think we're going to fire Dennis Allen midseason if we struggle, but I think Carmichael will be gone. I could for sure see week 4, week 5, offense is struggling, not working. Carmichael's gone, Gruden's in. Like, for sure, I could see that.
But he's coming back. I'm getting the system, and Derek looked really good last week in his one appearance.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the system, maybe Derek and Allen know enough of each other and are comfortable enough with each other that Derek can kind of not be the offensive coordinator, but he can kind of do that. He can kind of run the system on his own. He can kind of have the freedom to do that. Is he good enough to do that and have legitimate success? We certainly will find out this season.
So there you go. J-Mac,
let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. I think it's a no-brainer. I think the Saints have to win the division. I think that is the absolute bottom minimum requirement is win the division. If we do not win the division, I mean, I really don't know. It's hard for me to fathom it. It really is. It's hard for me to fathom a situation where we do not, barring an injury or something, where we don't win the division. And if we don't win the division because Carolina or Atlanta is a 13-win team, okay, fine. But if we win 8-9 games, if we win 7-8 games, and Atlanta wins the division with 9 wins, I will be absolutely shocked. That is almost impossible in my mind. Let me know in the comments below. Is the division within our grasps? Who is the best quarterback in the division? Is it Derek Carr or is it someone else? Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.